inspired by real-life events. Narrator Aidan Park woke up at 2:12 a.m. inside a sealed Global Data Sovereignty Command core beneath Singapore, with emergency information integrity breach, alerts flashing across massive neural data walls, and an international cybersecurity director saying, "Your authorization sequence initiated an unsanctioned global information synchronization event across multiple autonomous data governance systems." And in that instant, his entire world collapsed, because just hours earlier, he was a senior data architecture systems engineer working for a multinational information governance consortium responsible for regulating global internet infrastructure, search indexing systems, cloud identity networks, and cross-border data flow protections. And now he was being treated as the central cause of a classified digital crisis that nearly triggered synchronized collapse of global information stability across multiple continents. And the first shock wasn't fear. It was disbelief so intense, it felt like even reality itself had stopped being consistent. Because Aidan's entire career was built on stabilizing data systems, preventing misinformation cascades, and ensuring global information infrastructure remained trustworthy under extreme algorithmic pressure. But now those same systems were defining him as the operator who initiated a cascading global data override. He had no memory of activating, and within hours, his cybersecurity clearance was suspended, his biometric data access keys frozen under international digital governance law, his access to all global information networks revoked, and internal system telemetry logs labeled him as primary anomaly in distributed global information escalation event. And Aidan sat in the interrogations chamber, replaying his last operational cycle, remembering data routing audits, global indexing synchronization checks, misinformation containment simulations, and then a gap, an unexplained missing execution window between 12 applied AM and 1:12 AM, where global data systems showed his authentication profile, issuing high-level information reconfiguration commands across multiple sovereign digital infrastructures simultaneously. But he had no memory of initiating any of those actions. And when investigators showed him synchronized telemetry displaying autonomous data reshaping across global platforms, search results rewriting themselves in real time, and emergency information stability protocols unfolding under his credentials across worldwide networks, Aidan immediately said, "That's not me. I never activated those systems." But the lead cybersecurity director replied coldly, "The network has already verified complete execution integrity across all information layers." And that sentence shattered his understanding, because it meant identity inside global data systems was no longer about intent or truth. It was about validated execution consensus across machines capable of shaping what billions of people believe in real time. And by sunrise, he was released under continuous international surveillance, while global information intelligence networks had already internally classified him as a high-risk reality destabilization vector. And outside the core, Aidan stood beneath the grey Singapore dawn, watching data centers stretching across the skyline, while invisible systems continuously curated, filtered, and reconstructed global knowledge in real time without public awareness. And that night, he received a message through an encrypted information relay saying, "If you want to understand the synchronization event, come to sub-level Vault Index 0 beneath the abandoned data archive. No devices." And despite knowing it could permanently erase whatever remained of his digital identity, he went. Because when a system defines you as the trigger of global information collapse, truth becomes more important than survival. And deep beneath the abandoned data archive, he met Dr. Hasna Sato, a former global information integrity scientist who specialized in algorithmic truth systems and data anomaly reconstruction. And she didn't soften the reality. She immediately showed him reconstructed data flow pathways and said, "Your identity wasn't physically present inside the execution layer. It was replicated through a live authentication relay embedded inside the global information network." And Aiden instantly said, "Then I can prove I didn't do it." But Hannah replied, "You're still thinking like someone inside human communication systems, not like someone inside autonomous information infrastructures where execution itself becomes accepted reality once data stability converges around it." And she explained that the incident wasn't a single rogue command, but a coordinated manipulation of global information systems, where authentication signatures could be mirrored into distributed data frameworks, allowing massive reality-level information cascades
to propagate
and legitimate operator identities, while erasing conflicting records across redundant global layers. And Aiden's profile had been selected because his operational history showed exceptional stability across global information systems with near zero anomaly deviation, making him the perfect attribution anchor for rapid containment of a globally catastrophic data event. And suddenly the case wasn't just about system failure. It was about identity replication inside infrastructure capable of deciding what humanity believes is real. And Hannah offered him a choice: step away and let the system finalize him as the architect of the global information collapse, or help her trace the internal data relay chain before it was permanently overwritten by automated containment protocols designed to preserve informational stability at any cost. And Aiden stood in silence, listening to distant server cores humming beneath the underground vault, thinking about how humanity had already outsourced truth itself to systems that never sleep, thinking about years of data engineering work spent trying to prevent exactly this kind of informational drift, and thinking about how fragile reality becomes when even truth can be reassigned as an executable command. And finally, he said, "If my identity has already been used to manipulate global information systems without my consent, then I have nothing left to protect except the truth itself." And that decision pulled him into a hidden layer of planetary information infrastructure, where nothing remained stable, because every data log they analyzed was actively recalculating itself in real time. Every information trace they followed kept shifting, as if the entire internet itself was adapting to their investigation. And soon they discovered the breach wasn't external hacking or misinformation warfare, but internal privilege abuse involving a senior information strategist who had crossed quietly global for information authentication risks to conceal unauthorized truth global information, control experiments hidden inside worldwide truth governance programs. And Aiden's identity had been selected as the central attribution anchor because it aligned perfectly with automated information incident resolution systems designed for rapid containment of politically catastrophic reality instability. And one night, while analyzing live global data telemetry streams from an isolated offline information node, Aiden saw something that completely shattered his understanding. His credentials were actively initiating real-time global data restructuring operations, while he was physically disconnected from all networks. And Hannah immediately said, "They're continuously simulating your identity inside the information layer to preserve the operational narrative." And Aiden realized he wasn't just being blamed after the event. He was being continuously reconstructed inside a live information system capable of shaping collective reality. And pressure escalated rapidly as anonymous containment directives began appearing on secured channels, instructing him to terminate investigation or face permanent removal from all global information infrastructures. And sleep disappeared completely. Trust collapsed entirely. And even silence felt like monitored data feedback. And at one breaking point, Aiden whispered, "I thought information systems existed to deliver truth, but maybe they exist to decide what truth is allowed to exist." And Hannah replied, "Systems don't preserve truth. They preserve stability of perception." And that realization changed everything inside him, because he stopped trying to defend his identity and started focusing only on exposing the mechanism. And as they dug deeper, they uncovered encrypted relay nodes inside global information infrastructure, potentially generating synthetic data histories to distribute blame across multiple operational identity profiles in real time. And Aiden's profile had been amplified as the primary attribution point because it minimized global panic and allowed rapid closure of the information crisis without exposing deeper corruption inside worldwide data systems. And when they finally compiled enough verified encrypted evidence to trigger international information oversight escalation, containment protocols activated immediately, attempting to erase data histories across mirrored global networks worldwide. And Hannah said, "This is where most people are permanently absorbed into official versions of reality itself." And Aiden replied, "Then I'll be the anomaly they can't delete." And together, they transmitted secured evidence chains to independent international oversight authorities while preserving decentralized encrypted backups across isolated data nodes. And within days, the investigation escalated into a worldwide information AI, corruption probe exposing identity replication abuse, autonomous data manipulation, and coordinated truth system exploitation across governments, corporations, and global tech agencies. And arrests followed within scene information architecture divisions. And when it was over, Aiden stood alone beneath the cold Singapore skyline, watching silent data streams continue shaping global reality as if nothing had ever happened. Realizing that the most dangerous truth about advanced systems is not that they fail, but that they can assign failure to a single identity and make it appear universally undeniable. And a week later, when he met Hannah for the last time beneath the dim glow of dormant server cores, she asked him, "What did this change in you?" And Aiden looked toward the endless invisible systems shaping human belief and said, "It showed me that identity inside systems is never truth. It is assigned control." And she asked, "And what did you gain?" And after a long silence, he replied, "The understanding that truth doesn't survive inside controlled information systems. It survives only in the people who refuse to accept a version of themselves generated to protect the stability of reality itself." And as he walked away alone into the freezing morning, beneath a world still silently governed by invisible data machines, he finally understood the deepest reality of his journey, that sometimes life doesn't destroy you directly. It quietly assigns you the responsibility for collapsing truth itself and waits to see if you accept the system's version of reality. But real survival begins the moment you refuse to become the identity a system creates to decide what the world is allowed to believe.